Magandang gabi, umaga, hapon sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Venus Rojas, estudyante ng NTTCHP sa Instructional Design, so HP221. So ito po yung homework ko tungkol sa isang instructional strategy. Ang napili ko ay yung gamification. So kausap ko po ngayon si Dr. Julius Megrino, so isang kaibigan at isang katrabaho ko dati na nagtuturo sa San Beda at sa Ateneo. Tama ba, Julius?
Yes.
Okay, so kasi napanood ko siya dati na magsalita tungkol sa gamification sa isang conference on educational EduTech Asia. So, naisip ko na i-present din yung case niya dito sa class kasi maganda siya at napaka-applicable sa topic natin on instructional strategy. So, bago ang lahat, mag-introduce muna tayo.
Ako po si Dr. Julius Megrino, UP College of Medicine graduate of 2007. Nagtatrabaho po ako ngayon as an assistant professor sa San Beda University College of Medicine and as an adjunct professor in Ateneo School of Medicine and Public Health.
Tanong ko din, mahilig ka bang ng games, computer games? Kasi since ang topic natin ay gamification. Kasi ako honestly, hindi ako magaling sa mga online games. Pero na-try ko din naman minsan.
Actually, computers talaga hilig ko ever since. Nag-start na ako mag-programming ng 10 years old, 11 years old. Tapos, bata pa lang din ako. Siyempre, mahilig sa games kahit sa ang games. Lahat naman ng bata. Pero computer games, generally, nahilig ako sa computer games. Hindi ako competitive na computer gamer. Ano lang talaga, hobby lang talaga. Pati yung programming, hobby lang din. So, medyo may alam ako sa technology. Ha?
Sige. So, discuss ko na lang saglit yung tungkol sa gamification. So, syempre, base sa, yung alam ko is yung tungkol sa mga nabasa ko about it. So, ang sinasabi nila about gamification is ito yung paggamit ng strategies ng paglalaro tulad ng mga time management, mga role playing para matuto yung mga estudyante. So kasi nakita nila na since mahilig nga yung mga batang maglaro, what if gamitin na lang din natin yung same strategy para matuto sila ng mga objectives dun sa courses na gusto nilang kunin.
Yes.
Tapos nabasa ko din yung tungkol sa 4 freedoms of play na naalala ko, diniscuss mo din dun sa conference na dun sa EduTech. So sabi mo nga, yung merong freedom to fail, freedom to experiment, freedom to assume different identities, tama. Freedom of effort. So sa ngayon, gusto kong malaman kung kasi ito yung definition na nabasa ko. Ikaw, ano yung personal definition mo ng gamification? Ano para sa yung gamification ng instructional?
Yung gamification sa karamihan ng teacher at saka mga estudyante, ang unang pagkakaintindi nila sa gamification is paggamit ng computer games para matuto yung estudyante. Pero actually, isang maliit lang na portion yun, yung paggamit ng computer games. Yung gamification of education is hindi lang siya paggamit ng computer games. Pero tama kasi sa mga sinabi mo yung meron silang mga iba't ibang mga, I guess, pillars yung sinabi mo. Pero iba-iba yung terms na ginagamit. Yun din yung pagkakaintindi ko kung ano ibig sabihin ng gamification. So maraming concepts na ginagamit in games, not just computer games, pero games in general, na ang purpose talaga is to utilize the best concepts to of course at the end of the day to reach the proper outcomes, to reach the proper learning outcomes. Pero ang pinaka strength ng gamification of education is not really achieving the outcomes kasi marami namang strategies to achieve your outcomes eh. So yan yung mga instructional strategies, di ba? So isang instructional strategy lang yung gamification. Pero ang advantage ng gamification as an instructional strategy, at least as far as I know, is really to get the proper engagement of the students. So maraming instructional strategies na probably makukuha yung learning objectives faster or more efficiently. Pero yung engagement ng student, yun yung advantage ng gamification of education. So yun yung niyayabang, kumbaga, ng gamification.
Kailan mo na unang narinig or nalaman yung tungkol sa gamification at saan, paano mo nalaman yung tungkol sa strategy na to? Kasi ako sa classroom.
Na-introduce sa akin siya kasi umattend kami, I think 4 or 5 years ago. Naghahanap kami ng learning management system for San Beda College of Medicine. Tapos, ang inattenda namin some educational convention on educational technologies. So doon nila inintroduce yung, I think isa doon sa mga speakers, nag-introduce yung about gamification. So very intriguing siya talaga. And bago pa lang din yung gamification around that time. As far as I know, around 10 years old pa lang ang gamification of education. So around that time, a few years old pa lang din siya. So from then on, nag-research ako about it, and then I tried to implement it nung hinawakan ko na yung isang course na meron akong freedom to experiment kasi elective course lang naman siya. So meron akong freedom to experiment. So doon ko siya ginamit. And mas maliit yung student base, mas madali silang i-manage for me. Tapos, I guess, yun yung nagtulak sa akin na pwede kong gamitin dito. Kasi yung topic itself, which was outbreak investigations, was based on a CDC computer-based course siya. Pero hindi gamified yung course. So, since computer-based na siya, dinagdagan ko na lang ng game elements.
Parang yung mga massive online courses?
Hindi. Actually, lumang course na kasi siya. Lumang course na siya ng CDC, sa US CDC. So, it's parang wala pa yata internet ng ginawa yun. Kaya, computerized na course siya, pero hindi actually siya online course. It's a desktop course na binibigay nga nila as files. Parang naka-CD pa nga yata or naka-diskette pa nga yata. Very old course na siya.
So luma na talaga pala.
Oo. Well, actually, hindi naman yata diskette. Pero hindi siya online. Hindi siya online course.
Okay. So hindi siya parang Coursera. So transform mo siya into something na gamified. Ano yung pwede mo bang ikwento kung ano yung specific game, ano yung naging objective ng game, paano yung mechanics ng game?
So yun nga, actually hindi siya game. So it's a precursor to our online courses. So para siyang online course pero hindi siya online. So it's a computer-based course. Yun. I guess yun yung pinakamagandang description sa kanya.
Computer-based.
It is a computer-based course na ang ginagawa ng CDC, dinidistribute yung mga files sa mga estudyante, tapos yung mga estudyante may program, yung naka-program mismo, tapos doon nila aaralin within the program. So binibigay yung mga scenarios, tapos bibigyan yung mga estudyante ng mga assignments, ng mga homework, ng quizzes. So basically, parang kung paano natin ginagawa yung online courses ngayon, parang ganun din yung ginagawa, pero hindi lang online.
Next naman is, gusto ko malaman kung paano mo na-illustrate yung 4 freedoms dun sa strategy, dun sa course mismo. So, di ba kasi may yung gamification, sabi mo nga, may 4 freedoms, freedom to fail, freedom of effort, etc., etc. So, ano yung mga specific na nagamit mo doon?
Pero kasi iba yung terms na ginamit ko kaysa dun sa terms na ginamit ko. But I think pare-pareho lang din naman yung elements. Iba-iba lang yung pangalan. Yung binanggit mong 4 freedoms kanina, doon sa reference, sa main reference, meron parang ginawa siya as 5 underlying dynamics. So yun yung terms na ginamit nila. But I think similar lang yung mga concepts. Iba-iba lang yung terms na ginamit. So yung first underlying dynamics, kumbaga underlying game dynamics na in-incorporate ko dun sa course is yung narrative. So, parang implementation of a narrative. So, inherent yun doon sa course. Kasi yung course is a simulation of an outbreak. So, the entire simulation of an outbreak is the entire narrative. So, kumbaga, yung course na ginawa ko, an outbreak investigation, there's already a story arc. Meron ng narrative. So, advantage yun sa akin na binigay na sa akin yun ng CDC. Meron ng narrative. So, ang ginawa ko na lang, in-edit ko na lang to personalize it a bit, tanggalin yung mga I think hindi kasama sa learning objectives. But mostly, na-preserve yung narrative. So yun, advantage yun para sa akin. May narrative na built-in doon sa in-adopt kong course from CDC.
Pero sa start, alam nila na ganun yung approach ng course na yun?
Initially, hindi.
So, nagmulat sila?
During the initial rollout, actually, syempre, wala pang idea yung mga estudyante. And gradual din naman yung implementation ko. So, nung una, syempre, hindi pa alam ng mga estudyante kung anong ini-expect nila. Pero, eventually, nung nag-stabilize na yung, mga 3 years ago, nag-stabilize na yung course, hindi na masyadong bago, alam na ng mga estudyante kung ano yung pinapasok nila. And actually, maganda nga yung reception ng students doon sa course. Unang napupuno yung slots ng elective course compared with the other courses. Pero I guess hindi ko rin alam kung bakit. Hindi ko naman sila tinatanong why exactly. Pero I think one of the reasons is flexible yung learning time, which we can go back to later.
Paano mo sila ina-assess? Kunyari, di ba, at the end of the course, meron kang objectives. So, paano mo sila ina-assess na kuha na nila yung objectives na sinet mo?
So, maraming assessment techniques doon sa course. Merong individual quizzes. So, yung quizzes, ever since gumagamit na rin kami ng learning management system, so I utilized the learning management system to give asynchronous quizzes. Actually, kung ano yung ginagawa ngayon sa schools na bago pa lang inaaral, matagal na rin namin ginagawa yun. Kasi matagal na rin kami nagkaroon ng learning management system. So, at least familiar na ako doon sa mga concepts on synchronous and asynchronous learning, although hindi pa namin alam yung terms noon dati. Pero,
oo nga, no?
Yeah. So, merong online quizzes. May online quizzes na sila na asynchronous, individual. Merong mga group work, so may mga group assignments, magsasubmit sila ng mga reaction papers, ng mga assessments as a group. So, mainly, actually, the activities are more group-based. Ang karamihan ng assessments nila as a group para to facilitate I guess, inter-student collaboration.
Oo, tama. Okay. So yun yung parang isang maganda advantage na, no, kasi nagpo-promote siya ng collaboration sa students. So hindi sila nag-work na individually, which is kind of like in the real world na hindi naman talaga sila nag-work on their own, no?
Yes.
And napansin ka ba advantage, if ever?
Yun nga actually kung pupunta tayo sa gamification of education mismo, mas mahirap i-assess yung group. Kaya initially group lang dapat talaga, parang more group activities lang din talaga yun. I think yung unang run ko, parang 90% of the activities were group-based activities. Ngayon, nagbigay ng feedback yung mga students na sana meron daw na individual assessments. Kasi nga, doon nagkakaproblema. Nandyan yung mga estudyante na nagpa-banjing-banjing lang, nakikisabit lang doon sa mga magagaling na estudyante. Kaya gusto rin nila na damihan daw yung individual assessments. So during the succeeding runs, binawasan ko yung group outputs, dinagdagan ko yung individual outputs. So very very flexible yung course, and that is also because I think what enabled it is that the students feel that they're part of creating the course. Isang part sa gamification yung agency na tinatawag. So aside from the students feeling that they are part of the course, they're also, I guess, builders of the course. Kasi humingi rin ng feedback palagi. So, may agency, may ownership yung mga estudyante.
Para siyang progressivist approach, no?
Yes. Something like that, I guess.
Okay. Next na naman na itatanong regarding sa gamification is ano yung mga minimum resources na kailangan natin to actually perform this kind of instructional strategy? Kasi syempre, kailangan alam natin yung mga materials to prepare so we can teach, use this technique properly.
Kasi yung loob ko na i-adopt almost 100%, sabihin natin 80% yung gamification concept sa course ko. So, that being said, importante yung technology sa course. At least sa course ko. Kasi I assumed na kailangan marunong yung estudyante ng, of course, gumamit ng internet, gumamit ng browsers. Yun lang naman yung kailangan nila. Of course, yung accounts nila sa learning management platform namin and internet connection. So yun lang naman basically yung kailangan nila. And of course, yung internet-ready devices such as laptops or tablets or cell phones. So pwede nang gumamit ng cellphone. So yun yung mga basic requirements.
So I guess masasabi natin na sa mga far-flung provinces, hindi talaga ito masyado applicable, no?
At least yung approach ko, baka mahirapan yung mga teachers na nasa far-flung areas. Pwede nilang i-adapt yun into, I guess, hindi online na strategies. Pero I guess ita-transform lang din talaga nila. So gamification naman, it's not really limited dun sa mga activities na kailangan ng technology. May mga concepts naman yung gamification na pwede mong gawin even without technology. But I think some of the examples, gumagamit sila ng mga paper-based. So paper-based activities. So instead of parang role-playing games. So pwede silang gumamit ng paper-based na role-playing games. Yung mga panahon naman dati, yung role-playing games, hindi naman sila electronic in nature. But that is a good example of a non-electronic gamification strategy, at least for education. Pwede din gamitin. Pero it would entail a lot of imagination.
I feel like, sa tingin ko lang, yung mahirap all the time is yung paano mo i-assess yung activity, no?
Yes. Very important. Yung assessment ang medyo crucial din sa gamification. At the end of the day, education will not be anything without assessment. So, at the end of the day, actually, most of the outputs that the students give me, the bulk of their grades, I have to check manually pa din. So, I cannot really rely on, I guess, automation, I do rely on a lot of programs, a lot of applications, but as far as assessments is concerned, it will boil down to I guess manual checking pa din of outputs. Pero kasi that is because those are the learning outcomes, and the learning outcomes of the course can't really be assessed by just your typical multiple choice questions. Advantage lang though nung approach ko sa gamification, yung mga individual quizzes nila, pagkatapos na nila ng quiz nila, there's immediate feedback from the LMS, which is an underlying dynamic, or I think one of the concepts in gamification. So importante yung immediate feedback compared with traditional learning na bagsak na yung estudyante, saka lang nila malalaman yung grade nila.
Oo, tama lang. So, important yung feedback na timely.
Yes, timely feedback. And that's a very important concept in games. Kasi pag sa games, pag kunyari, naglalaro ka ng Mario Brothers nung Mario 1, pag nahulog ka dun sa butas, deads ka na. Alam mo na hindi mo na gagawin yun next time.
Napaka-timely yung feedback.
Timely feedback is very important in games. So yun yung isang concept na ina-apply natin when we talk about gamification of education.
Tsaka yung freedom of failure din, no? Na kahit namatay na siya, pwede pa rin ulit. Diba, pag exam, wala na. Bagsak ka na talaga.
So may lives, kumbaga. So actually, ginamit ko rin yun dun sa course. So pinapayagan ko yung mga estudyante na mag-resubmit ng assignments. Pinapayagan din sila na mag-retake ng quizzes. Pero of course, up to a certain point lang. May ano naman, meron ding, I guess, constraints.
See, ito may isa akong parang naisip na tanong, no, out of the blue. Do you think na any course can be gamified or may specific subjects or topics lang na mas okay i-gamify, or do you think any kind of course can be gamified?
Oh, medyo biased ako dyan, no? I really think everything, all learning outcomes, all courses should be gamified.
Should.
And that is because because gamification, as we've mentioned earlier, maraming concepts ang gamification. And you don't need to get all of these concepts and integrate them into your course. Kasi yun yung mali ko eh. Na pinilit ko talaga, ang ganda ng gamification. Gusto kong gamitin halos lahat ng concepts na natutunan ko, nilagay ko sa course bigla-biglaan. Pero hindi yun applicable sa course. Oo. So mamili ka lang kung ano yung ma-apply mo sa course mo para mapadali at mapaganda yung learning object, yung rollout mo para makuha mo yung mas magandang learning objective. So it is a tool. It's not really it's not an ideology. It's not a guideline. It's actually just a tool that you can use to improve on your instructional design.
Okay din yun. No? I actually like that. Kasi nung una, when I was reading it, I thought I had to also fulfill kasi, parang it's na kailangan may freedom of play din. Lahat. Yes. So pag hindi na to gamification kasi kulang ng isa. So at least na-clear mo yun sa akin na hindi pala kailangan lahat kasama doon. Kasi
I learned it the hard way. Initially, actually, ako yung na-overwhelmed. Kasi
ikaw yung na-overwhelmed.
Kasi ang nangyari, I needed to assess, to grade their outputs quickly.
So mahirap.
Ang daming outputs. Tapos, kailangan kong i-monitor yung performance nila. Kasi gusto ko nga yung immediate timely feedback eh. Pero to get that, kailangan kong i-check agad yung mga output nila, i-monitor yung mga grades nila, i-monitor yung progress nila. Kasi merong progression doon sa an underlying dynamic of gamification is also progression. Kailangan nakikita ng student na nag-i-improve sila over time. And to do that, you have to monitor their grades every day, every now and then, at least every week. Trabaho for me.
Oo. So, masasabi mo ba na mas mahirap pala ang gamification sa part ng facilitator versus sa part ng learner?
Oh, definitely.
So, it's like more effort on the facilitator kasi design ng everything. And it's more fun to learner.
Yes. Actually, pag nagawa mo yung trabaho mo as a good gamification facilitator, mapapadali mo yung buhay ng estudyante. Kasi mabilis na lang sa kanila yun. Kumbaga, it's like a well-designed game. Dapat lakihan yung sweldo ko.
Tama. Yan yung solusyon sa
Tama.
So, actually, well, it sounds like a joke, no? Pero nabasa ko dun sa napanood ko na presentation, they say na yung support daw ng administration. Yes. So, in a way, financial component is a support from the administration. Sana marinig na administration.
Yes. I really think that since the gamification of education would, at the end of the day, help the students more than help the students learn more rather than the teachers teach better. So I think an important aspect really is the support of the administration to incentivize teachers to apply concepts of gamification in their courses to promote student engagement and to promote fun learning for the students.
No, like even sa pagde-design lang ng mismong course na yon, dapat may incentive kasi mahirap siyang gawin.
Yes, exactly. Kasi
it's a lot of preparation.
Yes, it needs a lot of
assessment.
Actually, yung course ko, 6 months ko siyang pinaghandaan bago ko i-implement.
Isang semester?
Hindi naman full-time, pero pinag-isipan ko siya, dinesign ko yung mga activities, yung kumbaga yung storyline, anong mangyayari pag meron akong binigay na activity.
So, ayun, I guess madami tayong natutunan. So, summarize ko lang ng konti yung we learned about the definition of gamification, na it applies game strategies, time management, role-playing to actual learning to make it fun para ma-achieve yung mga learning outcomes in a simpler way through the application of gaming strategies. And then at the same time, na-apply natin yung 4 na freedoms, or it can be in any kind of translation, whatever name you call it. Basta it's like there's a freedom to fail, freedom of effort, and then freedom to experiment and to have different identities, which is yung role-playing. So, nagkwento mo din sa amin yung tungkol sa course mo on epidemic, yung disease outbreaks, which was a good way to actually, for the students to actually feel as if they were doing the outbreaks on their own.
Yes.
So, last ko na lang na question is yung tungkol sa tips mo sa other facilitators if they want to use it. For example, sa akin, if I want to some time, ano yung masasabi mo na ito gawin ko, ito yung hindi, iwasan ko.
Okay. So I guess practical tips for those who think they're going to use gamification for the first time. Take it slow. Really select which gamification concept you'd integrate into your course and into which part of your course. So, importante talaga yung preparation phase. So, you really have to be very specific on which area of your course you'd want to gamify first and which gamification concept you'd want to put in there. Test the waters first kasi mahirap talaga ulit agad-agad lahat-lahat. Hindi kaya sa kahit saan sa buhay. And of course, being up to date with technology will actually help you a lot. Mababawasan yung trabaho mo as a teacher, and also mas streamline yung activities for the students kasi digital natives na lahat ng estudyante natin.
Totoo.
We take advantage of it. Hindi pwedeng Microsoft, hindi pwedeng Windows pa rin yung hindi pwedeng WordStar pa rin yung alam natin.
Alam naman, hindi ko na alam yung WordStar. Ano yung WordStar?
Yabang mo.
Shows, no? Joke lang, putulin natin yung part na yun. Thank you so much, Julius. Madami ako natutunan. No joke. Kasi mga old misconceptions ko about gamification. Kasi iba yung inisip ko before. Tapos iba na yung perspective ko on gamification. Okay, so hanapin na lang namin yung video mo sa EduTech tapos i-share ko sa iba. Yes. Thank you so much.